Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. The painting I'm bringing you today is called Riffing on Emil Carlson. It's a 5x5 and I did it about 3 or 4 days ago. I'll tell you what I mean about Riffin in a minute. Some of you know, but some of you may be new. And if you're new, welcome. Hope you enjoy the demonstration. And I'll be trying to lay a few helpful tips on you too. What do I mean by riffing? Well, in fact, it was maybe this time last year someone on the channel suggested, hey, you should do a study after a meal. And I did, but I changed it a lot, and it took a whole year to actually just put it on the easel every now and again. And I've never put it on channel. It's too much of a Frankenstein. But when I was looking for Emil Carlson's that I thought I might like to do a study of, I came across this one, and I just stuck it in a folder. And the other day I was looking for a 5x5, and lo and behold, this was already cropped as a square. And it had very different colors than I painted it in. It had really lovely colors, actually, really fresh greens and blues, and I had to double check actually that it wasn't the work of a contemporary artist. I don't recommend making studies after contemporary painters' works. I mean, for your private education. In fact, a lot of people make studies after the stuff I do. It's fine with me. But you know, don't start your own YouTube channel doing studies after M. Francis McCarthy. That would suck. Anyway, Emil's dead, and I don't know much about him. If I get a chance during this video, I may pull up the Wikipedia and see what it has to say. I don't love a lot of his work, but I do like this piece from him. I have to say, though, you see this big tree mass on our right. His is very round and really annoys me, so I had to work a bit to just change that up. And I decided I wanted to do all mine kind of riffing on purple, rust, yellow, kind of a complementary thing. I don't think I used very much of any green in this. In the sky, I did move into like some raw umber sorts of tones and things like that. Also, I was kind of using a little bit of a different technique in the sky. I kind of get almost a little more textural feel there, yeah. And you know, you're gonna see that every now and again your technique will change up, for at least that's how I feel. Of course, there's a lot of things going on with brush technique, right? The brush itself, what it can do, being probably the greatest factor. The size of the board, the colors and modulations you're going after, the simplicity or complexity of what you're trying to paint, what kind of reference you have, things like that. So a lot of things that go into that. So and I like to just roll with it. I just, you know, for my part, I'm always just doing my best. And you know, I pass this on to my students here, and Sunny Fongaray. And if you're a member of my channel, you're hearing this too, because you're there in the studio with me basically painting live. So there's a live version of this in the members area, about an hour and a half long. And a lot of people tip in and tip out of the members area. I don't focus on it. I try to deliver some teaching moments as I'm painting. And you'll find a lot of it's earlier on. Once we start getting into the later stages of the painting, I generally have less to say because you're basically just messing with things. But I think there's so much value even in just watching people put things together. I love it. I love seeing it on YouTube. I loved seeing it when Bob Ross was doing it when I was a kid. I just love seeing art come together, and it's always been my motivation for recording my work. And today I'm doing some archiving here at home, moving things around. I got hard drives full of this stuff, let me tell you. And it is an archival process, and it's yeah, very interesting. If you haven't considered maybe videotaping your own work, it's not that hard to do. And very illuminating, educational, although I'll be honest with you, I don't visit my old videos very often, but hey. Okay, so in about a minute or two, we're going to have an ad for my book. Meanwhile, let's talk about what it was kind of crossing my mind to maybe lay on you as we're watching this demo come together. And I'm aware you'd like to know the colors used and all that. Again, that's really covered mostly in the members area. I told you I'm riffing with the yellows against the purples and burnt siennas and cad reds and things like that. Yeah. By the way, it's a bit of NDF I'm painting on in this painting, and it was that was prepped with 2 layers of transparent gesso, and then I did a little acrylic sort of couple swipes with some raw umber on it, and that is the basis of our painting. From there, of course, we went in with it was a little black mixed with some burnt umber, yeah, just to give you some juicy details, because probably best to get into the theme I want to discuss of supporting yourself as an artist after our video ad. So yeah, I always realize people are hungry for that technical stuff, and that's because that's what you can hang your hat on, and that's what people that haven't really not saying I'm not dissing anyone, but if you haven't really got to any kind of level of mastery, and I think I'm on maybe the ground floor, so don't think I'm putting myself up there with the all-time greats, but I put in my 10,000 hours and more, if you know what I mean. They tend to fixate on the things like the paint colors, the brushes used, so on and so forth. Anyway, we're going to have a little ad. Now, hopefully people seem to be liking the new ad for the book. We got a few extra orders last week, so that's good. I'll have to figure out another way to change it up again later, but I think this is good, this ad. It's coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I think this ad is good because it shows you the actual book. It was a labor of love, stimulated by the lockdown we had out here in New Zealand. Really, both of them. Yeah, I put it together myself, wrote it. I had help editing it with a lovely young lady that really saved the day. But I'm happy that it's getting out in the world, and if you're interested in it, $60, and a lot of that's really just going towards the astronomical international shipping. It's really the same amount to ship it anywhere in the world, by the way. That doesn't change. So I've had a lot of people suggest that you should just put the price and then it'll calculate the shipping and stuff, and nah, I got it sussed. Anyway, let's talk about supporting yourself as an artist. Now, this is one of my themes I've brought up again and again on the channel, but I'll start off my what is it going to be, maybe a 6-minute talk here, by saying what I always say: painting is hard. Okay, it's not easy to do, and if you're the kind of person looking for a really easy hobby, I don't know what to suggest, because who wants an easy hobby anyway? You want something engaging, I find landscape painting infinitely engaging, and I absolutely love doing it. Yeah. So it's hard, and which means that you need to support yourself in your work as a painter, whether it's landscape painter or otherwise. Here's a couple tips. Well, more than a couple, actually, truth be told. But first big tip: do a lot of paintings, okay? I know it's hard. You can learn a lot faster by doing small works, but watch out for the problem that could come into play where you get uncomfortable scaling up. That did happen to me, probably still does happen. Yeah. The trade-off is, I just really want to keep creating fresh things. Bigger paintings take more time, but I'm not telling you not to do big work. Everyone's different there. What I am saying is do a lot of small things, and every now and again do something larger. Yeah, mix it up. But do a lot of work. This is how you get over so many of the initial problems of painting. First of all, having terrible paintings around that you don't want to get rid of or throw away because you only did 3 paintings that year. Sound familiar? Anybody? Anybody out there? Yeah. Okay, here's another tip. I do things like pre-mix my colors, because if I have my colors pre-mixed, it's a way of engaging with the the reference image looking towards the actual painting. And I'm not actually putting any paint on the painting. I'm just starting to plug my mind and my consciousness into the whole situation. So that's pretty valuable. That's why I do that. Underpaintings. The reason I do an underpainting is that I can solve, like a lot of people say, you just want to block it in. Go ahead. There's perfectly legitimate approach. You know, just work with big brushes and big blocks of color and move things around. Absolutely valid. Works fine for many painters. You'll never see me do it because the advantages of having an underpainting that's just done in one color and a couple different values far outweigh it, because there's so many parts of a painting that need to be good, that need to go right. But of all of them, the number one thing that needs to be right is the composition. Speaking of, that's mostly what got lifted from old Emil Carlson, the structure of his painting. The colors and a lot of other things have been changed, but the basic composition is there, and it is his, and that's why he'll get credit on the back of the painting and in this video, etc., and so on and so forth. Okay, another way you can support yourself as an artist is to clean your brushes well. That sounds silly, but your brushes over time will start to take on characteristics that are reflective of your process, and they become better and better if they're cleaned well. Now, I do a two-step process where first I use a bottle with some mineral spirits, and I have like a bit of screen mesh from a strainer in there in the jar, and I actually get that pretty packed with paint over time. I just cleaned mine out the other day. I brush the brush in there, trying to get most of the paint off of it. Of course, I pre-wipe with paper towel. You know, don't try and extra gunk up your jar. But do a couple good passes that way. And then I use brush cleaning soap. But if you're very poor, you can use a bar of soap. And you work that paint, the rest of that paint out of the brush. You'll be amazed how much paint will come out of the brush when you think it's completely clean from just the mineral spirits and the strainer. It's not clean at all. And if you keep it clean, you keep the paint out of that, especially when you're painting. Don't dip your brush so far into the paint that you're jamming extra paint up into that ferrule. Ferrule being the metal bit that grabs all the hog's hairs there. Those bits that are closest to the ferrule, once those get clogged, the brush loses its most important aspect, which is a certain amount of springiness. Brushes will wear down, they get quite short. In fact, they get so short that all that's left is that little area. But you'd be surprised with a good cleaning. You'll see me use these stubby brushes for various jobs. They almost become like pen nibs, really. Yeah, pretty interesting. That's about, there's a bunch of other stuff I do. Yeah, cool it with the negative self-talk, especially when sharing your work with other people, okay? Don't talk yourself down. Don't tell everyone how you're not very good, you know, because you're trying to do an end run around any criticism. You know, just share your work with people, or don't. Wait to share your work until you know it's awesome. But regardless of what you do, cool it with the negative talk, both to yourself internally, almost especially internally. And I'm not saying to lie to yourself either and, you know, tell yourself you're better than you are. Be honest with yourself, but you know, always keep it on the optimistic side. Keep it on the optimistic tip. Alrighty. Anyway, we're getting close to the end of this video, and I think that second half went pretty well. Thanks for getting this far in the video. Apparently, the YouTube algorithm god likes it. Yeah. Thanks for your support and watching the video. If you have any extra time, please leave me a comment. I really appreciate each and every comment. And if you have any extra money laying around, I do this full time, so any support that I get is extremely valuable and helps me buy paint and live, etc. But either way, thanks for coming, and until I come back with another video, do me a favor, do me a solid, take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble, and God bless you and your family.